Well, joining me right now, Montrell Haygood. He is someone who is here in honor of this interfaith rally today. He has been working as a pastoral assistant with the Garden Church right here in West Baltimore, although he's from Georgia, outside of Atlanta. It was only a year and a half ago that you came to this area to do this good deed, this work with the Garden Church. What were your initial impressions of West Baltimore and really seeing firsthand the hardships, the disparities, the everyday reality for people who live there?
It was definitely a culture shock. I am from Barnesville, Georgia, which is the rural South. So the only experience that I had with Baltimore was that I saw on the TV show The Wire. So when I moved into West Baltimore, I saw the disparity. I saw just the results of decades of marginalization, discrimination, racism, and I just knew that it was going to be a difficult work to do. So.
And what have been some of the frustrations that people have expressed to you, as you minister with them? What are they telling you about the trappings that come with living where they are, the difficulties of trying to get out, trying to remain hopeful?
Right. A lot of people in the community, in my community especially, think that people don't care about them. They think that the government is out for them. They think that they're against them. So it's pretty difficult trying to tell them that, okay, there is something that's better for your life. It's difficult trying to tell them about this hope that we tell them about when they're not seeing people who care about them. So.
Especially when you hear from young teenage kids who say, I can't find work,
right,
but I need to help put food on the table.
Right.
And so there was a drug dealer on the corner who said, I can make some money if I assist in passing drugs and in making deals, and next thing you know, they're caught up. What are some of those experiences that you were enlightened by of these young people as to, why change around them has to happen, so to help facilitate change within them?
Right. So one of the major issues is certain programs are being cut, such as recreation programs, after-school programs, art programs, in communities that are impoverished. So all of these factors lead to them doing what they know to do and know to do as far as their community that surrounds them. They do what they know to do. They do what they have to do to put food on their family's table. And it's quite unfortunate, but we have to take some point and look at these government structures and say, why are certain programs and funding being cut? Because I don't think that's the only thing that leads to situations like happened this past Monday, but I think that it's definitely an important factor that we must consider. So.
We've heard from some of those who've taken to the microphone this weekend, whether it be today or even yesterday. We've heard from folks that we've just talked to, many of whom, as a fire department official vehicle goes by, sorry about that. We've heard from many who say there are many Freddie Grays.
Right.
This 25-year-old is representative of a lot of experiences where someone was apprehended by police, either falsely accused or perhaps even died in the hands of custody. So when this happened with Freddie Gray and this became very publicized, had that become a familiar story for you? Had you encountered other people who had similar stories to share about their experiences of alleged police brutality?
Right, it happens all the time. When I first came to Baltimore, I was told about some instances that people had with the Baltimore Police Department. And like you said, unfortunately, this is a situation that happens all the time. It just got publicized. So this is something that's habitual in Baltimore, not only in Baltimore, but cities across the nation. But I don't want to do to be insensitive to the Freddie Gray situation, but it happens all the time.